We're attending the 42nd Annual Port Mansfield Fishing Tournament, one of the biggest fishing competitions in South Texas, to see if we can reel in the big one using artificial lures. That's something I've never done before. I'm so excited. I get to go fish in a tournament. Oh, I'm gonna go fishing, yay, yay. But someone special is taking us out. Dan Morgan with Telltale Charters is taking me out. Wonderful, I've never gone lure fishing, and him and his wife and a team of VTX and Michelle Sadoff, we're all gonna go fishing, so we're gonna have fun. And lots gonna happen, so hopefully I can win. So we'll see you then. Thank you.
It's time to hit the road and discover Texas with Annie Studebaker. Get ready to travel deep into the heart of the Lone Star State, meeting friendly folks and exploring fascinating places. Experience a way of life like nowhere else in the world as we uncover the rich history and culture of Texas. Discover adventure, discover excitement, discover Texas with Annie Studebaker.
Anglers will be competing for prizes and bragging rights, but before we can go out and fish, we all need to be registered to compete. Port Mansfield takes registration very seriously. They enforce a strict no cheating policy, and everyone who will be fishing is required to register. Once registration is complete, it's time to fish. At 6:30 in the morning, we set out to sail into the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. After reaching our destination well north of Port Mansfield, it was time to get down to business. Michelle Sadoff, a good friend of mine, was the first to cast, followed by me and one of our video producers, Danny Mata. I was new to fishing with lures. Luckily, our guide, Captain Dan Morgan, was there to tell me all about it. Okay, we're here with Dan Morgan with Telltale Charters, and he's taking us out here on his boat, and he's teaching me all about lure fishing. We're having so much fun, and we're participating in this fishing tournament at Port Mansfield, so we're really looking forward to catch that big one. Okay, I really want to win. We all do, so tell me a little bit of what's going on here.
We're out here trying to entice trout, reds, maybe some flounder, floating over some grass beds and potholes. And it's more about teaching than it is catching. Okay, look how that guy flops and wiggles and does all that stuff in the water.
What? Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Okay, and so that's what's going on. These little tails on there, they flop in the water and vibrate a little bit.
Let me see.
That one's even more. He's got a very limber tail.
Wow, look at that. Just at any movement.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I just learned that.
What would your cat do with that? He'd slap it around.
Oh
and
my
do all kinds
gosh.
of stuff.
Okay, that means I'm going to catch the big one now.
That's how we tend to look at it. Andy helps me out quite a bit. She helps more with the women. That's what it's really all about. It's coming out here, enjoying the great outdoors, seeing some great sunrises, and catching some fish.
Well, I'm so excited. Let's get started.
And just remember, that's what it's all about. We're trying to entice the fish to attack something that's not natural to them. We're trying to imitate, you know, shrimp, mullet, just whatever. We're trying to get them to believe in what we're preaching. With the rod tip.
That's right.
With the rod tip.
Lure fishing requires more skill than traditional fishing. Every step from tying the lure to reeling in the fish requires real concentration and discipline. Tying the lure properly is very important. If you don't tie the lure correctly, you risk a fish getting away with it, getting it pulled off by seaweed, or losing it to the ocean.
We're going to tie a square knot in there first. Okay? We're not going to cinch it down. We're going to pull it down to where there's a little bit of loop left. And then we're going to stick it through this eye. Go back through the loop. Pull it down like so. Wrap it around 4 or 5 times. Then you're going to take it and go back through the triangle above the loop and back through the loop itself. Cinch it down. There.
Awesome.
It just gives the bait more freedom to move.
Fishing usually requires a lot of patience, but it wasn't long at all before Captain Dan brought in the first catch of the day. You got one.
Yeah, I got one.
All right.
Feel like a big one. I would say 6 years ago, that's a decent one. He's better than I thought.
My goodness.
I'm gonna throw him up on your
Okay.
lap there.
Wow. And that is a speckled trout.
That is a speckled trout.
Awesome.
All right, there you go. Try to make me look thin now.
How big is it?
About 19.
Today. Woo!
Just a little less than 20.
That's our first today. I remember when my first time fishing, my dad took us out to a beach in Peru, up north in Peru. I was so excited. I was like 10 years old. He taught us how to cast it and everything. So the first time I did cast it all by myself, I caught a sand shark. And it was about maybe 14 inches. Oh, I was so showing off that day. I was so proud I caught a shark. And of course my mother was all worried. And the beach where, you know, that's just so dangerous, one of our beaches. Had a blast.
Here we go.
Andy Morgan, Captain Dan's wife, preferred to go wade fishing instead. She told me you can't limit yourself to the boat during the competition. We decided to move to a new spot and continue our search for bigger fish. Stay tuned because when we return, we'll catch more fish and enjoy the great outdoors.
Hold on to your hat. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We're out here at Port Mansfield Fishing Tournament trying to get some big trout and redfish. We're using artificial lures, and to be honest, it's a lot harder than using live bait.
We like these here at times because they got a little curl tail that swirls around in the water. Same for this guy here. As the water passes across the body, the tail swirls around and it entices them a little more. That there, another kind of mullet imitation. And it just wiggles. It doesn't make much noise. We use paddle tails as well. The paddle tails, when you pull them through the water, vibrate. And the fish pick up on that vibration, and that's what brings them in, you know, trying to find out, hey, where's that bait at?
Okay.
Most of these are reaction type lures. You're looking for to get that fish to react and strike it at the lure. Eat it before it gets away. And that's kind of what it's all about. Right now they're mainly fishing with topwaters because it was early. We had a little bit of topwater bite. But again, you're imitating a bait fish that's wounded, sitting on top of the water. It's just kind of milling around out there, and it's just looking like an easy meal. Like I say, the cookie on the table. You know the cookie's there. When you get ready for it, you go eat it.
There you go.
All right, so we want the reds and the trout to do the same thing.
Our video producer, Danny, was determined to reel one in. It was a perfect day for fishing. Just then, Captain Dan caught a trout. We're only allowed to keep them if they're at least 15 inches long. this one didn't quite make the cut. Andy and Danny decided to go wade fishing. It turned out to be a good idea because Andy caught 2 keepers. Hooray! I was determined to catch one of my own. Michelle got a bite. It turned out to be a keeper. Captain Dan's fishing tips were starting to pay off. At the end of the day, we had 5 keepers. Not too shabby. Since I had never used artificial lures, it made fishing a little challenging for me. I was wondering why Dan and Andy enjoy fishing with artificial lures.
Number one, it is a natural food source for the trout.
The croakers.
The small croaker, the small ones.
The small ones, of course.
So it's a natural food source for them. So when they're feeding, that's what they're going to go for. The argument against the croaker are twofold. If they continue to drag the bay to catch the bait-sized croaker, they're depleting the resource so these fish never grow up. And dragging this shallow bay system destroys the grass bed, which is natural habitat and protection for the fish. So those are the arguments against it. The other primary argument against it is to understand how a fish feeds. A fish doesn't graze like a cow or a horse and bite the grass. The way a fish feeds is they open their mouth and their gills at the same time, and it creates a vortex. So when you've got a small croaker hooked, that fish is not biting it, he is sucking it down. So the small fish feed this same way. You cannot keep any trout that is under 15 inches, even though he has inhaled that croaker beyond his gullet. You have now killed an undersized trout. So the argument against croaker is that they're depleting 2 of our protected resources. The bay system itself with the grasses and killing the small trout, which again don't have a chance to grow up. That's the argument against croaker that I've heard. I choose to stay neutral. I don't want to. I have my method of fishing. It works for me. I enjoy it. I'm good at it. I'm successful at it. And I don't want to get involved in the argument. It's theirs to have.
Yeah. Don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll continue day 2 of our fishing expedition.
Hold on to your hat. We'll be right back.
I had a good feeling about the new day and was determined to catch some fish. We set out again at 6:30 in the morning. It was a bit humid, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. We cast our lines as the sun began to rise. Andy was kind enough to talk with me and share her passion for fishing.
The passion that Dan and I share is the love of the fishery and teaching inexperienced anglers the art of fishing with artificial lures, explaining the technique, the reasons, the why you would use a certain color under certain conditions, and then to have an angler experience that top water strike. That's a reaction strike. That fish doesn't naturally eat plastic. That fish was not feeding, he was angry. That's the reaction strike. And to get to see that angler experience that for the first time and the thrill on their face. And we want to instill that passion in the inexperienced angler.
After a solid day of fishing, I was starting to get the technique down. Captain Dan caught a fish, but unfortunately it wasn't a keeper, so he had to throw it back.
He's got 2 fish.
Oh, see, this goes a little further.
Yeah.
This goes further. It's the weight. It's not the... I had a gummy bear, a gummy fish on that thing. No, I'm just kidding.
This one you gotta keep working like that. Pop it and get it.
There you go, just like you're doing. Yeah.
I've been watching Danny. What are you talking about? Oh, my. Well, Rupert, you can't say I didn't get something. Look at that poor little fishy. There we go. Oh, so that's what they look like. I finally caught one. It turned out to be a skipjack, so I couldn't keep it, but I think it still counts as a catch. I could see Dan really enjoyed fishing. I guess it's true what they say. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
He's a good 18, almost 19. Nice job. Nice job. Very nice.
Well, at least I can say that I had a blast, and I learned so much about fishing with artificial lures.
And having Captain Dan Morgan as a teacher for the past 10 years and many other experienced anglers here in Port Mansfield sharing knowledge, and that's what artificial anglers do. We share the knowledge, the technique, the experience, and everybody has a good time.
I have to admit, the fish won. It's like Justin Morgan always says, it doesn't matter if the rod is or isn't bent. Time spent fishing is time well spent.
And I do hope you come back again. It's just been a fabulous experience, and I'm very
Great time. You guys are wonderful. I love it. So yeah, definitely we're going to be back.
Call the cops and call a priest. Man, I'm in the belly of the beast. Full speed ahead and no retreat. I've landed in the belly of the beast. Razor claws and razor teeth, chewed up in the belly of the beast. He dig the blood, he gonna feast. Oh no, I'm in the belly of the beast. I'm swimming in the belly of the beast. Got no way out.
I hope you enjoyed our 2-day artificial lure fishing extravaganza. The Port Mansfield Fishing Tournament takes place every summer, so if you're ever in the neighborhood, bring your tackle box and get ready for a good time. I'd like to thank Captain Dan Morgan and his wife Andy. On behalf of all of us, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. We'll leave you with some pictures of this year's participants. Until next time.
You can't hide in the belly of the beast. If you got the most or got the least, there's no bribes in